When did you first meet the defendant?
Ryan and his mum moved to the village about 18 months ago.
When Mrs. Lamb followed your father to the village?
Your Honor.
Mr. Seeley.
Mrs. Lamb became obsessed by Mr. Wylde.
Well, to be fair, she was his legal wife, so... She didn't even know that he was alive until a couple of months before moving to the village, so... That was when my parents gave her money. It was...
Please, just answer the questions.
Sorry.
Why did your parents give Mrs. Lamb money?
Because they were trying to cover up the fact that my dad was a bigamist. They didn't want anyone to know, especially not the village, but it didn't work. She loved him and she moved closer by.
Is Mrs. Lamb to be called?
No, Your Honor.
Then let's leave her feelings to her.
My dad treated her like dirt. He did all of us, especially Ryan. I don't blame her for wanting to cling on.
Seems very generous of you.
Well, it's not. Look, I grew to hate Ryan and his mother. There was arguments, and when we fought, didn't we? I've behaved appallingly, and everybody knows that. It's no secret.
Before that, did you become friends with the defendant?
Yes.
When did things change?
When I found out that his mum was having an affair with my dad. That's what we were told.
Did you talk to the defendant about this so-called affair?
Yes, of course we did. We both agreed that my dad was probably the most at fault. But being my dad, obviously I believed him, and I started to realize that maybe Faye had become like a stalker. And, well, that, of course, is what started to break up our friendship.
But not the defendant's friendship with your sister, Maisie. She remained friends with the defendant, even after being told that her father had had an affair with his mother. We have to talk about this.
Look, I know what you're talking about, okay? My sister, Maisie, and Ryan, my brother, they fell in love. They didn't know they were related because our parents had tried to protect them from that, and in doing so, they sent my sister insane, and they turned Ryan into a murderer.
Your Honor.
Mr. Wylde.
He's a victim too. Look, if I didn't hate him so much for murdering my dad, then I'd pity him. Anyone would.
My God, you're good. Did you have access to the murder weapon? Your father's gun?
I suppose.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Did others?
Yes.
Your mother? Katie Sugden, who shared the office? Sam Dingle, the gamekeeper? Nicola King? Rodney Blackstock?
All of the people you're mentioning could have had access, yes.
What about your sister, Maisie?
If she wanted to, yes.
So, we've got countless people with access to the murder weapon, which, by the way, was never reported missing after your father's disappearance.
Well, I know nothing about that.
Do you have access to shotgun cartridges?
Yes, of course.
And as my client's landlord, access to his home?
Yes.
Would you look at Exhibit C60? What can you see?
The garage.
Where the murder weapon was found. It's an open, public place which any one of 100 people could have had access to. Now, the chain, my client's necklace, which was found on the murder scene.
Yes.
Were you there the day that it was found?
Yes, I was.
You do have a habit of popping up in all the right places, Mr. Wylde.
I went to go and pick my brother up. I wanted him home. I was also interested. Have you ever had a parent murdered?
You've said quite openly that my client killed your father. How can you be so sure?
Because the lies that my father told meant that my sister and him committed incest. They loved each other.
Then your sister could have killed Mr. Wylde.
No, because no matter what, he is still our dad.
I don't follow.
We had 20-odd years of a fantastic father. We would have fixed things. We'd have made it work. He loved us, and we loved him. It's not about biology. He's still our dad. And here's one that made it perfectly clear that he was putting us before Faye and Ryan twice. So no, I wasn't there the night that Ryan gunned down my dad, but I was there that night when he completely lost it. His whole world was destroyed. I'm sorry, bro. But you lost it.
Actually wrong Laurel in confidence, then she told Jenny in confidence.
What, and then Jenny told you?
No, I listened in. I wish I hadn't now.
Wow! Hey, and you thought you had problems with sex? At least you weren't sleeping with Priya.
That's nice. You're sick. Think of poor Maisie.
You all right? Oh, either way, it's wrong.
Welcome to the House of Empathy. Thank you.
You must be very proud of Nathan.
We both love our children.
One of them's a murderer.
Well, it isn't mine. How's Maisie? Bitch.
I thought it might be a tramp. But then I thought, well, tramp couldn't bury himself, could he? Especially if he were dead. Or if he were alive. So I called police.
Thank you.
Did you wait with the body till the police came?
For a little while.
Why only a while?
Why, it was scary.
I'm sure it was.
And the stink was terrible. I'm sorry, but it was.
So you didn't manage to look around the area?
No.
You spent some time working up there in June. You began clearing the area.
Why is June relevant, Your Honor?
Did you see anything, Mr. Dingle?
Like a letter of confession from someone other than Mr. Lamb?
Mr. Dingle, I don't have to remind you of the seriousness of my client's situation. Did you see something in the area Mr. Wylde's body was found?
I might have messed around up there on the way home a bit. I might have had the odd rabbit, some mushrooms and that.
Mr. Kofi, what are you trying to establish?
Mr. Dingle, did you find a wallet?
Your Honor, if there's some new evidence.
I didn't. I didn't find a wallet. I found Mr. Wylde's body and that was that.
No further questions.
What was that all about?
It's leaving. What a surprise.
The prosecution calls Douglas Potts.
He's very keen to have his say.
The van broke down.
It was a nightmare, I'm sorry. How was it?
He did really well.
Can we go?
No, I've just fed to meet you.
We're going, Zach.
Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
See you.
Is there a robbery trial on today?
Just murder.
Here you are. Funny old world.
And they were pushing and pulling and what's going on, he said.
Who said that?
Nathan. And then Ryan said, go on, tell him, Dad, because obviously we were being sarcastic. And then Mark said, let me explain, I can explain.
You paint a very vivid picture.
Well, a true picture, I hope.
In your statement, you mention one very clean, violent punch being thrown. And he said, I'll kill him.
Well, it's a turn of phrase, isn't it?
He said, I'll kill him, then he punched Mark in the face. Who said that? Who said, I'll kill him?
Ryan.
The defendant said he'd kill the victim as he violently assaulted him.
Your Honour.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how violent was that punch?
Look, he's one of the nicest mannered lads you could ever come across.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, I'd have to say over 8. But I'd never seen him like that ever before. He'd just found out that Mark was his dad.
And that he'd fallen in love with his own sister.
No.
Exactly. You sure it wasn't a 10? No further questions.
Nothing to add, Your Honour.
And on that note, we'll finish for the day and reconvene tomorrow at 9:30.
All rise. I'm sorry.
Everything okay?
They didn't get to me. No, it isn't.
For any particular reason? You know, scratch that. It's all round the village about Maisie and Ryan, I won't lie to you.
Oh.
And if I hear one word, I'll wipe the floor with people.
Oh, Nicola.
It'll blow over, I promise.
Thanks.
There's been some messages for Nathan, but I can't reach him.
Okay.
And everything's fine here. You can rely on me.
I know, I know.
I'll leave you to it then.
Nathan was forced to talk about it. He tried to protect you, I promise. It was awful for him and Ryan.
The whole village knows. Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry.
Nathan?